following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Hello and welcome to Business Best, a program that we have carefully curated to bring in front of you quite successful entrepreneurs to share their story in hopes that it might inspire you to start up your own business. Now we have a very inspirational and quite, let's say, a peculiar entrepreneur who has taken a very different turn of business entrepreneurship. Please welcome Krishmal Geeganage, founder of Made in Ceylon.
Hello, hi.
Now, Krishmal, as peculiar that your name is, the business is also quite peculiar. But before that, let's start off with who is Krishmal?
Okay. So, I was born and raised in Gaul, South. When I schooled there, my father is a hotelier. So I grew up with hospitality, tourism as my background. And that's how I think I kind of developed my interest in tourism and dealing with foreigners. I think promoting Sri Lankan craftsmanship, I guess. Yeah.
That's how you came up to be.
Yes.
All right. So quite short and sweet answers that we're getting from you. Now, Krishmal, your business, Made in Ceylon.
Yes.
Now, Made in Ceylon is usually like a tag that we have with a lot of, Made in Sri Lanka and such and such and such. But your product, your business is truly made in Sri Lanka. From what I've seen from your pages and your product, you just also mentioned that you wanted to bring that Sri Lankanness, you wanted to bring it to the world. How did Made in Ceylon come to be?
Yeah, so like I said before, with my background, I want to bring Sri Lankan craftsmanship, and I want to kind of promote Sri Lanka as whether it's through hospitality or products. So this particular business actually was started by my sister in a way. She started a store selling Sri Lankan locally made craft, creating a platform for local artisans. When she decided to step out of it, I saw potential in it and decided that I could do something long term. That's when I came up with the brand and named it Made in Ceylon. So what I had in mind was curating and selecting authentic Sri Lankan products and giving our local artisans a platform to showcase their products to a large audience.
So if you had to talk about your product portfolio now, bringing forward local artisans to the global community could have a lot of folds in it.
Yeah.
What do you specifically cater into? What does your business entail?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
In a sense, what is your product portfolio? What do you create?
Yes, so what we do is anything that is made in Sri Lanka. So if it's handmade, if it's produced here, we do take it under our brand. Anything that is, the only thing that we are looking for is that it's made here. So, and it's made by hand. That's our product. So our product ranges from so many soft toys, clothing, caps, all these things, statues, handicrafts, wood carvings, everything. So anything that is made in Sri Lanka is our product.
Anything and everything, made in Sri Lanka. Amazing. So you're based in Unavattuna, is it?
Yes, based in South, yes, Gaul.
In the South,
yes.
Gaul. Now, when did you really start this business?
I started this in 2017. Yes.
17, so you went on to improve your sister's business idea, and then you went on to take it to a different fold.
Yes, yes.
So when doing so, now as a young entrepreneur, you've taken a business, you've revamped it, and then you have resold it to the public to be like, whatever that is made in Ceylon, we will cater to you. Doing so, since you have a lot of parties that you have to work with the tourists, you have to work with the Sri Lankans, the craftsmanship, ensuring that the quality is, there's a lot of challenges that's within your business. As an entrepreneur, how have you faced those challenges, or what are the challenges that you have faced so far?
So one of the major challenges at first was sourcing authentic products, and making sure the artisans and the customers were getting a fair price for it. Another thing was this industry is seasonal, so most of our clientele is foreigners, and tourism is seasonal in the country.
Yeah.
And I think the most difficult challenge I faced was convincing people that handcrafted this craftsmanship actually takes time and it matters, and choosing these products over mass-produced alternatives, that was quite difficult. But once you explain the process behind the product, it was kind of, they understood it. So, yeah.
Right. So, since your business stemmed way back in 2017, meaning you would have faced the COVID-19 period as well, the lockdown.
Yes.
And since you cater specifically to the tourists, that would have hit a bit hard. How did you navigate that piece?
So during those times, it was quite difficult because, most of our clients, like 95%, more than that actually, foreigners, right? So during that time, what we did was we kind of focused on e-commerce. And tried to get into the market of locals as well, promoting our own products to the locals, and try to find a global audience through e-commerce and social media, which worked. And we also tried not overstocking, going need by need basis model.
Yeah.
So we kept our stocks lean, and we tried not to overstock, and we kind of sort of survived.
Yeah. And it worked out just fine for y'all.
Yes.
Amazing. So, how about the economic crisis? How did you navigate through that?
Well, I guess it's the same way. I mean, tourism kind of, it's booming now. So, even then, what happened was same thing. Like we kind of expanded also, where we could help keep a good relationship with the suppliers. Because like when we expanded, we could always talk to them and make sure that both us and the suppliers got kind of, something to do. Keeping the stocks to a minimum was what we were going for during all these times. But like we made sure that our stores were open and everyone was happy, at least, something was being done.
So, you kept it afloat.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to a lot of handmade things, especially things that are so close to our culture,
Yes.
there's a lot of love that's poured into these creations. So if I'm to ask you, how does the supply chain work? Who does the production? Is it like a community that you've got, or you've got staff members doing it? Where do these come from? Where do these handicrafts come from?
Oh, okay. So it comes from all over the country. There are suppliers from Jaffna even. So we do go looking for them. Sometimes they do visit us with their products. And what we do is we take them under the brand Made in Ceylon, and we give them this platform. One thing that we do is also we try to help them create sometimes, if we have, for example, let's say a wood carver, we would tell them, like, through our experience, we'd know, this sort of a product would move faster. So we would tell them, try to do this, or we'll help them add value to the products, and so on.
Likewise.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, so it's like the way I see it. Your business, in the sense, is yes, you have Made in Ceylon, but there's so many other chains, a lot of more people who are joining in on it, and then it's mutual benefit. From what you've said to me and how you have navigated the business so far, it's a lot of mutual benefit that you have spread across. But then for a business like that, there's not an NGO. It's obviously a business in the sense of making a profit. How do you really stay afloat? I mean, you're thinking about all aspects. You want to bring in culture. You want to ensure that the tourists really understand the values of Sri Lanka. You want to ensure your suppliers are happy. And since it's a business that stems within your family, you want to uphold that also. As an entrepreneur, how do you balance all of this?
I mean, it's not that difficult.
Okay, do tell.
Yeah, so, well, we do add value to the products and the customers. For example, let's say a foreigner that's visiting the country, all of these products are quite new. So we are just creating a platform where you can find most of these products at one place, right? Yeah. So we make sure that our customers get a reasonable price. We also do get a reasonable profit, and our suppliers are also happy. So we try to balance it all, and somehow it works. So yeah, it's been all right.
It's been all right. So let's dive a bit back into you, to yourselves. Now, you're quite a young entrepreneur. You're running a business that is catering towards the tourism side of Sri Lanka with a lot of personal relationships that you have to maintain. From your experience thus far, how has your entrepreneur journey been? Has it been smooth sailing?
Not
Have
at
you
all.
had to face a lot of challenges? If so, what are they?
Yes, it's not been smooth sailing at all, especially during COVID hits. I mean, there was a point that I was thinking, oh, so I can't really continue doing this. That's when I think, your family actually helps you to, explain to you. My father actually told me just think of this as a learning experience. You never expect these things to happen. It's easy to talk about it now, but back then it was quite difficult. There was really points that we thought, okay, we cannot do this anymore, but things turned out well. So I guess just staying connected to, I don't know, what I wanted to do. I do love this brand, and I want to keep doing it and expand it to hopefully a global audience. So I think staying connected to that kept me motivated. And the fact that, okay, even going through a bad time, when thinking, okay, this is a lesson, I try to kind of convince myself it is actually a lesson, even though I felt like it was not. But yeah, it was true.
All right, quite an interesting, side of things that we are having a conversation with. It's not an ideal business proposal that you might really come across, but it's been successful, and that's why you're here right now.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a lot more to talk about your company that is made in Ceylon, and of course, much more to uncover with regards to Krishmal and his journey of entrepreneurship, but we'll be doing that right after this short break. This is Business Best. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Business Best. We are currently in conversation with Krishmal Geeganage, the founder of Made in Ceylon. Now, before the break, Krishmal, we were talking about your business and the different products that you produce and then how it really works. Now, I'm curious, when it comes to businesses such as yours, which sells and caters handmade handicraft items that are all made in Ceylon, there already are quite established brands in Sri Lanka, Colombo-based mostly. Yes. How did you come about this idea? Why did you decide one day to be like, okay, I'm going to start off this business?
Yes, so my sister was doing this, right? So she was having a store where she was selling crafts. She didn't have a brand. She didn't improve the products. So then I decided, when she decided to step over, okay, this is something I could do. I could select these products and improve it on my own, have my own kind of flair to it. Then I did some products on my own, and then found people to do the products that I sort of felt like, okay, these will be good, and that's how I went about it.
And that's how the business came about to be.
Yes.
Now, something interesting about your business, the products that you sell, not only do you cater Ceylon-made, Sri Lankan-made items, but you do have a couple of sustainability initiatives as well. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So we do have this product that we do. We use recycled papers and invasive plants to make notebooks, A4 papers, and all sorts of material which is made from this paper. And we have a very special product that's made from elephant waste.
Okay.
This is also, it comes out as a paper from which we make products. So this is what we do in that aspect.
Right. So not only do you really bring that Sri Lankanness, but you also think about the environment, because in this day and age, I feel like it's very important for businesses to be environmental conscious as well, especially when it comes to catering to the tourists. Now, you do have locations in Unavattana, but I think a lot of our viewers will be quite interested to get their hands on a couple of your products. If you can let them know how they could reach out to you.
So our first branch was opened in Unavattana. We have a branch in Galle Fort, Galle, and we have a branch here in Colombo 1 Galle Fest. And we are thinking of expanding into Valla and Hangama, very recent.
Okay.
So yes, I mean, for the viewers who are around South, you can of course visit us in Unawatanagal. For the viewers who are in Colombo, you can come to OGF.
All right.
Yes.
So it's a lot of access points that you can, of course, reach out to get your product. Now, let's dive back into your business and your business plans. Now, as an entrepreneur, yes, you serve your purpose of ensuring that your business stays afloat. Then you ensure that your product is being marketed to the right people. Strategically speaking, what sort of, let's say, maneuvers have you done as an entrepreneur to get your product out there, to get your product outside just South? Like you've expanded to Colombo, you've expanded, you're hoping to expand globally, you're hoping to expand through e-commerce. How did that process come about? What was in your mind when you came through this plan?
So when one branch, let's say for example, Unawatana, when we are selling these products and when we can see it's loved by people, so anyone who is visiting the country is going to love them.
Yeah.
So these products, I mean, it's not a good product because of the location. So I felt, okay, so if we have these products available in other places also, that foreigners who are visiting the country frequent more, I think that I always felt like it'll be a success. So that's how the thinking went behind that, and kind of decided, okay, if it works here, it has to work here. Yeah.
And it has been working successfully
It has
so
been
far.
working, so yeah.
All right. So if I'm to ask you, what really differentiates Made in Ceylon from every other business that's in Sri Lanka who sells Sri Lankanized trinkets and handicrafts, what would you say?
Okay, so I'll talk about South. So in Colombo, of course, yes, I'm not quite sure, but in South, a lot of these places are there. But I know these places also import this stuff from Thailand, Indonesia, or India. But we do want to kind of focus on authenticity and making sure all these products are genuinely Sri Lankan made or designed here. And also, again, South, still it's quite unbelievable actually. They still have a very informal pricing system.
Right.
So they would kind of tell you the price looking at you, depending on the customer. So we have a very systemized labeled pricing system and a product range that no matter who you are, where you're from, the prices are the same and 100% locally made.
So you have the quality, the authenticity, and of course the fairness as well.
Yes, I believe so.
Now I was thinking, you mentioned if a customer wants to reach out to you to buy your products, you have this points. Now, from what I've seen from your social media pages, not only do you encourage people to Sri Lankanize their art or motivate them to create more art, you also enrich that creativity. I feel like through suppliers, painters, sculptors, jewelry makers, you do pump that full for them. If you have any creative minds who are watching us right now, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, you could reach us through our Instagram. Just drop us a message with the products that you have available. And I'm pretty sure we'll be interested in it. You know, if it's done here, we're interested.
All right. Now, in that sense, now you've started a business. You've taken it up from an existing business idea, but you've brought in your own flair to it. You've expanded your business in hopes to conquer the world thereafter, but at the same time, you bring forth your Sri Lankanness to it.
Yes.
From your perspective as a young entrepreneur, what sort of advice would you have to any other entrepreneurs who are out there who also have a different, unique sort of a business aspect? Because if you think about businesses, if you think about entrepreneurship, all right, so maybe someone will start about reselling something, or they'll go into textile, or they'll go into IT. But this form of taking the culture to a different landscape is something that not a lot of people really put their hands on, because it's a risky side of things, there's a lot of risk to it, and sometimes the payout might not be as expected. But you've taken it, you've conquered it, and you've been successful. From that point of view, how would you give advice to someone else?
Yeah, I mean, start lean and maybe test your idea first and see how it works. And I would always say compete not on the pricing, but on the authenticity and the value. Just compete on that. Don't try to compete with the price. And trust your guts. I've always trusted my guts, and it has worked. So, yeah.
That is how you've been coming so far. On a personal note, how have you been stayed afloat on yourself, trying to maneuver everything throughout?
Well, I try to stay connected to this. I do believe this is actually good work. I do believe people do love our products. People do love our artistry. We just have to bring forth the story behind it. So that's one thing I think I've done differently. Rather than just a simple transaction of a product, I've tried to tell the story behind it, like how it works, how long it takes to, for example, to create a mask, rather than just having the mask displayed with the price tag has helped me a lot. So yeah, I think staying connected to the belief that these products are actually loved by people, once you truly explain the efforts behind it, has kept me motivated and afloat to do this.
I feel like you need to be very, very hands-on with
Yes.
the approach. And I think as an entrepreneur, a lot of people assume that you get to your ground level to do the work and you can just sit up on front on a fancy chair to do the things. Do you agree with that statement?
No, I do not.
Why?
Well, if you do want to talk about, like all this time I was talking about the quality and the authenticity, if you do want to make sure that all of this is met, you have to be hands-on. You have to make sure it is what it is, the product is what the supplier says it is, the product is what the customer wants. So to do all of this, you have to get a hands-on approach and see. And once you do see it, it's easier for you to convince the people of the story also. When you see these crafts are being made, you start to appreciate it more. You see the efforts it takes to create this, whatever it is. It's made by hand, so you see the efforts and skill that's needed. Once you do get down there and see this product, it's easier for you to train the staff as well. So like I don't believe you can just sit back and relax if you want to keep improving.
Most definitely. Now, for everyone who is watching in, now Made in Ceylon caters to a lot of products. They have a massive portfolio. I think they do jewelry, they do candle making, they make curated box gifts, masks to textiles to all of this. So I think more than going on to say about your products, why don't you just give us a quick briefing on the things that you cater for?
The sort of products we have. So we have soft toys, which is again special. This is made out of handloom material. I mean, it's not a very unique product, but I love talking about it because I see the process that it takes. It's not mass produced from a factory, right? So soft toys made out of handloom. We have a very special product that is made from elephant waste. We have statues made out of this pulp. We have recycled paper books. We have masks which we actually get from a certain artist who is well known for who has won awards for his artistry. So we have these things, and we have textiles, of course, which is made by Sri Lankan artists also. We have another very special product, a Sri Lankan themed deck of cards.
Oh
yes, it's actually loved by a lot of people. So yeah.
All right. Yes. I think you are also dwelling a little bit into the food and beverage side as well.
Yes. Now not much, but yes, we used to. I mean, we are introducing this production, dried coconuts. So these are the things I see is enjoyed by a lot of foreigners. They want to experience the culture. Sometimes we don't even think about these things. We just use it in our daily lives. But you can add a little flavor to it and a little value to it, and people just love them.
Most definitely. I mean, we take a lot of things in Sri Lanka, a lot of culture for granted.
Yes.
Whereas tourists, foreigners who actually come to Sri Lanka to witness the beauty and enjoy it and really cherish it, really understands the true value of it. So I think from all of Sri Lanka, I feel like we owe you a thank you for taking our culture, our artistry, our values, and our beautiful creations to other countries, to our tourists, and really putting our culture out there. So I think it was quite an interesting conversation we had. Yes. We delved into a little bit about yourself, your business, and how things to be. So thank you so much for joining in today's conversation.
Thank you for having me.
We, of course, had a wonderful conversation with Krishmal Geeganage, the founder of Made in Ceylon. Thank you so much once again.
All right, thank you for having me.
For all of our viewers, we sincerely hope that we inspired you to join in and start up your own business. And we also hope that you would, of course, give Made in Ceylon a chance as well. Do check out their products. They're authentically Sri Lankan and authentically wonderful. So do give them a shot as well. And if you want to catch up on our previous episodes, all you have to do is to check out our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Derana English. We'll see you next time with another success story of a wonderful entrepreneur. This is Business Best.